On this episode of BookWatch, we are watching All Systems Red by Martha Wells. This novella is one of 7 and counting, originally published in 2017, and we are comparing its 2025 Apple TV adaptation. This show is adapted by Paul Wheats and Chris Wheats, and the audiobook is narrated by Kevin R. Free. And there is also a graphic audio I listened to that has all the different actors, which was a lot of fun. I'm Chris.
I'm Sarah-Daye.
And I'm Jordyn.
So I really enjoyed this one. I didn't get the summary up here. Let me see. So it's a self-aware security android secretly frees himself from his corporate control and would prefer to spend his time binge watching soap operas. Assigned to protect a group of scientists. You just reacting to that? Yeah.
Yes.
Assigned to protect a group of scientists in a small remote planet. It uncovers evidence of corporate sabotage and escalating danger. Despite insisting it does not care about humans, Murderbot repeatedly risks itself and saves them, revealing an uncomfortable truth. Autonomy comes with responsibility. That's just kind of the little summary I pulled up just a second ago, which is about right. What do you guys think of this?
It's a really fun little short sci-fi show, and I'm really excited to keep on reading and keep on watching the show.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. I think there's a lot of interesting questions on morality and ethics and like where do we get our sense of morality and right and wrong, and like the question of freedom and what does freedom mean. And they talk about the indentured servitude and like robots and their like sentience. So I thought all of those questions were really interesting because most of my sci-fi is like Star Wars sci-fi, and they like kind of touch on it, but also like it's very clear like droids are droids and they're not humans at all. So to have this kind of blurred line was really interesting.
R2-D2 has got to be the most sentient being in the Star Wars universe. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean,
he is more human than any of them.
Probably a little bit. I mean, in some of the war crimes, some of the war crimes that these droids are committing in Star Wars is a lot, but it's all fun and games.
Specifically Chopper, his war crimes, but
Hey,
all right.
I got a sticker of Chopper on my water bottle. It says I cause problems for fun, and yeah.
I found a thing the other day that I sent to a friend when he was having a rough week. It said, "Be the person Chopper wants you to be," whatever that means. I was like, I'm pretty sure that was a threat. But pretty sure that was a threat.
Literally.
So the way I separated out our characters with this one is I put the main characters in the team he's with in the first part here, and then our second part we'll review the characters in the drama in the fake show, the Rise and Fall of Sanctuary Moon characters.
Right on.
Because those are also great. So coming into this, we have obviously Murderbot, played by Alex Skarsgård, which I was super down for that. He did a great job playing a non-human character there.
Yeah, he did really well. And just like that sense of like confusion and like learning about the humans and the narration that he had, I thought he really nailed the role.
Yeah, his sense of humor was really, really funny. It's just so dry and like stiff. I thought it was hilarious, and he was great. And I really like his like subtle facial expressions where he like you can see him starting to kind of like develop emotion just as a concept. And so these little like smiles and like little like he looks like he's about to laugh, but he doesn't. Like he did a really great job of sending all those little messages through his face.
It's crazy to me. I didn't know before watching this show just how many Skarsgårds were in Hollywood. I wasn't really paying attention, but like he's got like 7 brothers plus his dad are all actors, and so it's like, you really got to be specific with those guys apparently. But they're all pretty great. So next we got Dr. Ada Mensah, and she's played by Noma Doomswin. Names are not my strong suit ever. So
Doomswinny.
We're doing our best. So sorry to Miss Noma. We're doing our best.
Come on and tell us how it's done.
Please.
was happy with her. I think that for the character she was playing from the book, I think she accomplished that role of the lead of her team and the sovereign of her world.
Yeah, she really had a steady presence, and I really believe that like in a crisis, she's the one that I'm turning to out of everybody on the team. So I think she carried a lot of the heart of the show, especially because a lot of the other characters, like sometimes they were fine and funny, and sometimes I was like, these people are annoying, and I was like totally on Team Sec Unit, like these humans are insufferable. But she was pretty consistently like she's doing her best out here. She's not prepared in any type of way for this situation that she's in. She's doing her best, and she's got integrity. And so I really thought that Miss Noma Dumizweni really captured that.
Yeah, I don't have any much more to add to it. She's probably my least favorite character in the show. I just because she doesn't have as much of the comedic relief as some of the other characters do. But that does not that's not to say her acting was horrible or anything like that. I thought she did well as the leader, like you were saying, and like she's the one that kept the team together and calm. But I'm excited to talk about some of these other characters and their bigger roles.
Yeah, she kind of guides allowing Sec Unit to have his autonomy and everything once they get to that point in the story. But she definitely isn't one of the more interesting characters in the story, just kind of a guiding hand. There's Arada, and she's played by Tatiana Jones. I should probably pull up some pictures of these people so I actually remember which ones are which, because I know Dave Dalmanchin's character, but otherwise the rest of them I don't think I could name and see the faces. Is there any specific ones you were really enthralled by?
I thought the dynamic between Penley and I think it's Rothy and Arada have the threesome contract. Yeah. Yes, the throuple contract.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really fun added piece to the story. And I thought the three of them handled it really well. That's what I'm talking about, like the comedic timing. They all had really fun interactions with each other and with the Murderbot, and the Murderbot like spying on them basically. And so I think out of the like character arcs that we'll get into, there was probably my favorite, but we have to talk about David Dasmalkian because he's he's in everything right now. He's been in the DC stuff, he's been in the Marvel stuff, so it's always fun. You always know you're going to get a good performance from him.
Yeah, and his character being so big from the in the book as well, that character being suspicious of him as an augmented human, he really dials in quickly that there's something off about this character or this bot, and he's the one that's most suspicious throughout and probably benefits the most from Murderbot as he self-proclaims himself. That was one of the funnier parts to me, was when it says he calls himself Murderbot. Like, damn, they weren't supposed to know that.
Yeah, Grathan is such a fascinating character because because Murderbot is our like protagonist and like POV character, we're with him the most. You like want to be on his side, but I think about like if I was a member of this team, I'm probably going to be more like Garathan, like this is not safe, this is dangerous, like we need to follow procedure. Like I see myself, like I identified a lot with Garathan, even though like on the one hand I'm like, dude, you're being so mean to Murderbot, like he's actually trying to protect you guys, but also I totally get where he's coming from, and he's making a lot of sense at the same time. So I think he did a really good job of balancing, like he does really care about his people and his team, and like they're all a family in a lot of ways, and he's just trying to keep them together. But he has that some of his delivery is tough, just because he's like, you guys are, we see the flashbacks, he's like, you're naive, and yeah, they all are. So I really thought that that he nailed all of those like intricacies of his backstory that got added in the show. Was really interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right, and so the other ones were all just kind of, in a lot of ways, side characters. They all had their own little storylines, but nothing that's overly significant to our our conversation. There was Rati, played by Ashai
Akshay.
Khan. Akshay Khan.
Akshay
Okay.
Khanna, I think.
I'm gonna butcher every single one of these, so maybe I should just move on. But Pinley, played by Sabrina Wu, and then I forget how to pronounce the even full name of that one.
Bardwatch.
Bardwatch, and played by Tamra Podamiski. So yeah, I think that they were an interesting crew of this family almost crew versus a lot of the other crews he's worked on. Seemed like they were more just jobs, and this one was more individual being from a mining colony that's more cares more about their family group than they do their work sometimes. But
I thought everybody had good chemistry together. I believe that they like all knew each other from life beforehand, and that they all really cared about each other beyond the throuple situation, which made me deeply uncomfortable. I really was team Murderbot during that scene. I was like, I don't like this at all. I was not ready for this. This did not happen in the book. Like, I don't like it. That's just me being uncomfortable with that stuff, though. But yeah, I was like, me and Murderbot both. I was like, oh my god, drown me in acid, please. But all of the actors did a really great job of portraying like their connections with each other, and like that, like you said, like that familial comfort with each other while they're out here on their little expedition. So great job to everybody.
yeah, I think that novellas do make for the best adaptations, because there's so little to actually get to in the book that you're able to really expand on storylines and grow from there. So I really have grown to like these smaller adaptations, and they're gonna do a whole. They've done a whole show out of this one, so clearly they had enough content to do a lot, but and more to come. But I need a full produced version of Rise and Fall of Sanctuary Moon to hit Apple TV soon. I need like all 5 million episodes or whatever it is.
I found myself more interested in Sanctuary Moon, and whenever it would come back to the main story, I'm like, wait, I want to know what happens.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into the actors and stuff later too, but the show did such a good job with its actors too that I'm like, oh man, I would totally watch this like nonstop. This would be a soap I would totally get into.
Yeah. I would turn into Murderbot and just like fight. I gotta go do something and just be watching the show. Absolutely.
Yep. On the background at work. That absolutely makes sense to me. All right. Well, all right. Getting into episode 1, we got free commerce. And it was on a fresh assignment. Murderbot's newfound free will leads to odd behavior, sparking suspicion from the Preservation Ox team.
I thought that it did a really good job of following the book and its introduction, and how you had this giant monster swallow up one of the scientists, and how, we're cutting back and forth from him watching his TV show. And then he's like, oh no, there's like a monster, and he's kind of dealing with the fact, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but I feel like he's dealing with the fact that he wasn't paying attention 100%, and that's why the monster got through. So he's kind of dealing with that guilt as well. But yeah, I thought the CGI of the monster was great. I thought the desert setting was really great. I thought they did a really good job, taking this page to screen.
Yeah.
With Bardwatch being the one who gets like almost eaten by the monster, and then like Arata goes into shock, and he has to like that whole segment of him like taking his helmet off and like, where are you from? Do you have any kids? And like trying to like talk her out because he can't carry both of them, was pretty faithfully adapted. So I appreciated that, especially because I went into this thinking like it's a novella and this is a TV show. They're going to hit every single point exactly as it was written. And then they like added so much stuff. So whenever they did have exact scenes or exact lines from the novella, I got me really excited. So I'm glad that it at least started off doing that. So that way I wasn't like, stumbling, trying to get my bearings right from the get-go.
Yeah, it jumped right in where I expected to be, and I was really happy to see that they were just going for it the way it was written. And Apple's become kind of the sci-fi leaders in a lot of these sorts of things, so I was glad to see they put the budget into something even this small and
Mm-hmm.
insignificant feeling. But I remember the buzz around this when it first came out, and this show was given all the acclaim by everybody who watched it. So
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with it, how they're doing it here. Episode 2 is Eye Contact. Menza and Bodwaj risk everything to investigate a mysterious region. Garathan goes toe to toe with Murderbot. And so
When is Garathan not going toe to toe with Murderbot? Is the question.
Very true.
when he's going
Yeah.
computer board to computer board.
Yeah. So this is one of the scenes that was added. Like they go on this extra mission to another place, and they discover like the alien remnants on the planet. This is one of those things that like wasn't, I don't believe, happened in the novella, or at least not. They come to this conclusion later that there must be something on the planet that these other entities are seeking, but they don't actually like go and see it with their own eyes. But I thought that was a good addition, just to make it, because the novella, like I admit again, like I read it very quickly because it's only 150 pages, and when I read it too fast, like some details got left behind and I was a little confused. So taking the extra time to like show instead of just like tell or like leave it up to the imagination was, I think, the right choice for the showmaker. So I appreciate the extra scenes here.
I think in this one he came out of his medical, like healing himself, and it was part of where the conversation happened. It might have been in the first one as well, but there was the comment about how I didn't know it had a face, and that made me laugh because they keep their masks on so often that it's weird to see this machine with a human face. So I really liked exploring that concept more of looks more human than we thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Next episode was Risk Assessment, episode 3. The Preservation Ox team heads to a new base to search for answers. Murderbot gets tangled up in a sec unit showdown.
Again, great CGI. Or I mean, that's probably practical, them in suits, or maybe like a little bit of both. But even him going into, wait, is this the one they go into the other sec unit that's
Other
been, or not
base.
sec unit? Yeah, that's been
Delta
like
Fall.
everybody is like gone and dead, and and this ends, I think, in the cliffhanger of the other robot like shooting him. But it really well done. I really liked again the settings. Apple really puts a lot of money into these shows, and you can really tell with all of the settings and costumes and everything that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this part again was pretty accurately adapted from the book. He goes in and it's just pure chaos and gore and destruction, and that like horror element of like the suspense of like every corner you don't know what you're gonna find, and then you think it's a dead sec unit on the ground, but then it jumps up and attacks, and like all of that was really really well done, and it got me. I was jumping a little bit.
But at this point, it really starts. I feel like drawing the watcher in. You're like, oh, something's happening here that I want to keep watching. I want to keep seeing what's happening. And this was really where it gets a little tension. Like, wait, is Murderbot dead? What happens next in Sanctuary Moon?
Yeah,
because each episode had a little bit of that too.
Yeah, which I like, because it does get intense in these scenes, and so to have that little bit of levity sprinkled throughout was nice. Yeah, I was supposed to go to bed after watching episode 3, and I was like, well, I already read this book, so I know what happens, but like I still got to see it. Like I got to watch the next episode. So again, it does a good job of like keeping you locked in on it.
Yeah. All right, and then episode 4, we get to Escape Velocity Protocol. As an enemy takes aim at Murderbot, an ally tries to orchestrate a getaway. The team grapples with leadership shakeup and a shocking ultimatum. We should have gotten to rewatch all these because they're all in. I can think of all
Right.
how these scenes were, but I didn't get to rewatch it right recently. I watched it when it came out new, so some of
Same.
these things are what happened.
Yeah, and I just read the book. I just finished it
I do
today,
that again.
so
Yeah.
like the book is more in my mind than the show is. Even though I kind of pictured everybody as I was reading, but I'm like, I don't really remember what happened in this exact episode, but I know it was good.
Lucky. I just watched this literally this morning before recording, so
Perfect.
I do know what happens. All of the episodes kind of blurred together, but I can tell you what happens in the show. So this
Mhm.
episode, Mensa it opens with the other security unit trying to install the other module into him, the combat module, to make him go rogue and kill his team of humans, basically. And his wires are getting crossed, robot pun, and he is caught between what's real and Sanctuary Moon. So as him and Mensa are trying to escape the Deltfall habitat, he thinks he's in a Sanctuary Moon episode.
That rings a
And
bell.
so he's like flashing back and forth between Dr. Mensa and what she's saying to him and the captain of the Sanctuary Moon ship, which in this episode was Agent Coulson, Clark Gregg from Marvel. So that was really fun, like because he has so much Sanctuary Moon content downloaded, just because he doesn't care. He's trying to waste time and just watch a show. To have it like cause problems in this emergency situation, I thought was a fun way to bring some lightness to a life or death chase through this habitat. And then the episode ends with him like recognizing that the combat module is being downloaded, and hey, we've got like 10 seconds before I start killing all of you guys. So he shoots himself. He, his governor module, which controls that he is the thing that makes him have to follow orders of humans, he has already hacked it. So he can make that executive decision himself to choose to basically commit suicide in order to protect these humans that he's grown to care for.
Yeah.
So it's an emotional scene, and they come in, they're trying to save him, and he's like, no, I'll make the hero move and I'll shoot myself to protect you guys. So that's that episode.
Which is a kind of a sweet thing for a robot to make the choice to save
Mhm.
his people. That shows the humanity starting to poke through a little
Exactly.
bit, or at least what counts as humanity on TV. For in his world.
Right. And like he's been saying the whole time how annoyed he is with these humans and how he just wants to finish this mission so he can be done with these humans. But like, obviously he's caring for these humans and he doesn't want them to die. And by the end of it, he's really formed attachments and relationships with each of them.
Which that's a key point that continues on throughout the series of in the next one he kind of leaves that group and he's away from them for a while, and I think it takes an episode or two or a book or two before he gets back to them, but
So
he
he
keeps
does get
thinking
back with
about
them.
them. I believe
I
so. I
love
think one
that.
of the later
Okay.
ones has that. Yeah. The next one has some of the best characters in it, though, so I can't wait to talk about that one when it comes out. And I really, really hope they don't cut my favorite character when they do the show. I don't think they will.
I have been planning on reading the next one before season 2 comes out, so that I don't get influenced, because I saw the show first and then I read the book, and I like to read the book first and kind of see what's added and changed before seeing the show.
Absolutely. All right, so episode 5 is Rogue War Traffic Infinite. Rogue War Tracker Infinite. Sorry. Preservation Ox pulls out all the stops to forge a path forward. Tensions mount when trust is tested, and a Deltfall survivor joins the fold.
This one we kind of get to watch what happened played back through like security feeds after Sec Unit kind of like gets woken up. We get to watch Dr. Bardwaj and Garathan pull the the combat module out and like reboot him and fix him and save him from having to do what the module would tell him to do. And then they find this survivor from Deltfall who immediately I was like,
Oh,
something's
yeah.
not right here.
Very
Interesting.
suspicious.
It didn't happen in the book, and so immediately I was like, something suspicious. And then she was super weird and like talking about like him having genitalia and like he's kind of hot, and I was like, I don't want any part of this. You're weird. You got to go. Like, please. So I'm like, you're very suspicious and you're very odd. I'm like, maybe she's just weird in a different way, because like these humans are weird. Like they come from like a commune planet, so like Murderbot calls them like weird hippie humans, and they're not like the normal humans that he's used to interacting with like in the corporation room. So
Right.
I'm like, maybe she's just like a really weird human. If these are like regular weird, she's like really weird. But then I kept watching. I'm like, something's not right here. Something's very, very suspicious, and you guys are too trusting.
They are so trusting. Yeah.
Bless them. I wish I could just have that kind of faith in humanity, but I don't.
I know. You can't.
I'm very, again, like I keep saying it, I'm joking but not joking. Like I'm very much like identifying with Murderbot. Like, don't trust anybody. Like nobody is safe.
Well,
I
we
just
come
want to
from
do my
the
job and get
corporation
out.
room, so
I guess, yeah.
we know to be cynical of the system. So
Yeah.
Pretty much.
okay, yeah. So I mean, we get through that episode. And I think, does the twist happen at the end of that one with what happens to?
I don't think so, because I feel like she was there for
She
2
was-
episodes.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the beginning / middle of the next episode where we have the
Okay.
twist. And this one, she's just being weird. Like we were watching, trying to figure out, like, is she herself a robot, and that's why she's weird? Is she herself?
I think
like,
I
a
was thinking
sex
the
bot?
same thing.
Is she a sex bot, and that's why she's so fixated on like Sec Unit and his potential of having genitalia? Like, what is going on here? Like, this is very, very odd. But no, she's just a weirdo.
Similar
Or at least
situation
that's
to
what it
that
seems.
concept happens in the second book. So
Oh,
with there being a sex bot you get to interact with, so
okay. So I'll just be
Look forward-
uncomfortable the whole time. It's fine.
you can look forward to that, Jordyn.
Yay! Thanks.
But not like interact with. It's just another character you'll have to,
Yeah.
Well, okay. I
Well,
guess
that'll
I'll
be
survive.
interesting to see, like, all the like moral and ethical conversations you have around that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
because
doing
how do
a
you,
fish.
like, if they're a robot programmed for that, like, how do you figure out consent and anything like that? Like, that we'll get there when we get there, but that's the first thing that comes to mind. But
Exactly.
We'll ask an AI what the consent situation is. All right. Well, that's our first 5 episodes gone through. We'll be back next episode to talk about the last 5 episodes of this. And so we'll see you next week, everybody.
That's a wrap for today's episode of BookWatch. I hope you enjoyed this journey into the world of page-to-screen adaptations. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, review wherever you listen to podcasts, and share it with your fellow book and movie lovers. If you'd prefer to watch along, you can check the show out on YouTube. You can follow the show on Instagram at BookWatch Podcast, and you can follow me, Sarah-Daye, on Instagram at captain.mcdee. That's MCDEE. You can also join the conversation in the BookWatch Lounge on Facebook at www.facebook.com/groups/BookWatchLounge. If you would like to support the podcast, you can join the Patreon at www.patreon.com/BookWatchPodcast. Tiers start at only $4 a month, and I'd love to have you over there. If you have a favorite adaptation you'd like to cover with me, I'd love for you to apply to be on the show with the contact form on our website at www.bookwatchpodcast.com. Until next time, keep reading, keep watching, and I'll see you next week.